I'd like to welcome everyone once again to this online event. You may have noticed that we've had a bit of a makeover. The VII Foundation is bringing all of its activities together under its umbrella with a new look to simplify our presentation. And this means we're retiring the VII Insider name and its yellow branding. From now on, our events in partnership with PhotoWings will be presented by the VII Foundation using our new logo with the foundation's red color scheme. Okay, and let's come to our topic today. So we're delighted to have you all in our new episode of Photo Stories, where we are proud to showcase recent work from members of VII Community. VII Community provides ongoing education and support to a network of VII Academy alumni and Foundry Photojournalism workshop participants. Every few months, we invite photographers for VII Community from the VII Community to present their stories. And in this episode today, we'll look at 3 photography projects that examine the meaning of home. And we are just so happy to have today Ana Topoleanu, Maria Gutu, and Sara Contar with us. Thank you, ladies, for being here today. And let's probably get started. I think I would probably suggest for you all to present yourself and then your work. And as you show your stories, it would be nice to also hear about them and about the idea and creation and the story behind them. So let us get started with Ana Topoleanu, with your project, Ana.
Hi, everybody. So I will start by presenting myself. I'm Ana Topoleanu. I'm a photographer. I was born and lived in Romania for the first 22 years. And then I traveled the world and established around 13 years ago in Mexico. So right now I have double citizenship. I'm both Romanian and Mexican. And I'm very honored to present this personal project I've been working on for, I don't know, maybe 5 years, the last 5 years. Exploring my notion of home, although I have 2 homes now. I'm talking about the one in Romania that involves my core family, my Romanian family, and especially my 2 parents. So I left Romania when I was very young. I was only 22, and I felt only the adrenaline of exploring and seeing the world and capturing the world. I've been doing photography since then, since I left Romania. But only in the last years, and especially after I became a mother, I felt this eagerness of going back to my homeland and to explore it from just another open space, you know, like open heart, and to understand where I come from and how all of this culture and kind of love and traditions have made me who I am right now. So this is that exploration. I took photos, videos, I recorded my time with my parents. I did both digital and film. I didn't really care. I didn't think the first 3 years about what I'm doing. It was just shooting everything I was feeling. It was kind of a therapy also because it became difficult to see them aging so fast. The last years, especially after they gave up their work, the time, the year I didn't see them seemed to leave marks that were exponentially more powerful on their physique, but also their way of thinking and walking and talking. So it was, yeah, an exploration of how I want to remember them, how I understand them, how I can be present while living on the other side of the world, and understanding that time is so limited, right? Because it's like a TikTok in the background that I know that maybe each time I see them is gonna be the last time I see them. So the connection that I feel is uh, powerful, but also changing all the time. So I worked on this project first in my master degree that I did in Barcelona. I started working on it more like putting it in a shape of a book, because that's how I see the final product, as a book. And then I worked with Monica Allende in my level 3 course that I did in Arles this year with VII Academy. So then, with the help of Monica, I feel that I brought this project not only from a personal one, but exploring also more the surroundings that like the culture, what's making them the way they are, and not being afraid of exploring like um, how do you say, a funeral that we participated on, or what we eat, or how the houses look. You know, it's not only portraits of them, it's more like understanding their surroundings and the like Romania, you know, like you look at these photos and you understand a little bit of my country and the way it's such full of contradictions, you know, and somehow it makes sense to me. I also included a lot of photos of archive from my parents' archive, and this gives another layer to the project because somehow I want to remember them like this, like like the way I saw them when I was a child, powerful and young and full of life, not like the way I see them now every time I go back when life is slowly becoming more fragile. So also I would love, after seeing this couple of photos in this presentation like this, I'd love to present you what I did in VII Academy, which is a video presentation, because as I told you, I didn't really care about how I expressed this. You know, I tried all kinds of methods to connect to this story. And so I think listening to the voices of my parents and the sounds that surround that photo, it gives much more power to this project. So if you'd like, I could do that now. I think I need to do this and then share the... Please let me know if you see the whole thing right now. You see the video?
Zile când nu fac absolut nimic. Nici, da. Și ia tot timpul chestia asta. Și uneori sunt chiar obosit. E o chestie curioasă. Cred că numai dictatorii, regii, prinții, cosmonauții trec prin drama asta.
Te iubesc foarte tare.
Știu. Știu, de aceea vreau ca despărțirile noastre să nu fie atât de dramatice.
Maica ta e cu totul altfel. Eu greu de priceput. Și care, cred că dacă mă iubea cu adevărat, înțelegea mulțimea de acolo și era altfel lângă mine.
Inițiația! La loc să și-a pus la loc. Și-a pus la loc solgrelul.
Asta este împărăția, puterea și mânirea a ta, și a Fiului și a Sfântului.
Pe fața doamnă, stat o oră, m-am trezit de durere, m-am plimbat. Ce n-am avut noi discuția asta și o fi început mai devreme.
Okay, so yeah, this is the project. If you have any questions, I don't know if now or at the end, I'm happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, Ana. I don't know if you're seeing in the chat, people are, there are a couple of comments for you, and well, this is so not just personal about your home, but also deeply personal, you know, and it's also interesting how your parents communicate in a way that's so unexpectedly open. Yeah. Well, what do you think about the continuation of this? Is there one? Do you think you will keep on working on this? And how do you see it? Like, how do you want to ideally share it with people?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it because I can't help it, because I see them so rarely, and this is my way to, I don't know, to hold them close when I'm not with them for the year that I'm not there. Yeah, I would love to have a book. This is how I envision this project, to print it in a book. But exploring this side of interviews and also sounds, I feel it gives it's the first time I do this kind of work, so it really helps me connect even more with them, because I talk to them for hours, you know, and I understand better their world and what they feel about getting old, about being alone. You know, they're the definition of a generation in Romania. When people get older, they become like invisible. They're alone. Usually the young people emigrate, you know, they're all over Europe. So they kind of become, you know, in their own little house, and they didn't have the privilege like us to ask themselves, what do I want to do? What's my hobby? Let me create a group of friends for different hobbies. You know, they kind of lived one day after the other, just working and taking care of the household, and that was it. So now it's all coming over them, you know. So the relationship is kind of toxic, and being home all the time together, it's driving them crazy. And especially my father, who was an archaeologist, as soon as he finished working, like his integrity kind of broke apart, because that was his life. You know, he was the man who stayed at home 10 hours a day and did his passion, and now he's not able to do that, and he's having all these health problems. So yeah, it's very powerful to go through this. And yeah.
Thank you. So thank you for your willingness to share this, and to actually, you know, it's one thing that, of course, you find your family interesting for yourself, but to present it to people outside of your family in an interesting way, the way you did it, but also trying to show the country and a bit of the culture is, I think you've achieved a lot through this story. So thank you for this. And there is more comments there. And Jonathan, you had the questions, so Anna answered it too. And then there's a comment from Joanna Marinka. Okay, and I can also see the question from Iqbal Hussein, to which we will get. That's in the Q&A box. We will get to that. Okay, thank you, Anna.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, let's move forward. So we are going to hear the story of Maria Gutu. So yeah, and I know it. I've seen it, because Maria is also this year she received the newcomer award from the like a Oscar Banak award. So congratulations again, Maria. So we met there, and
Thanks.
You had a gorgeous exhibition. So I'm happy you're here to share this work with everyone.
Thank you so much. Hi to everyone. So I will share my screen. Okay. I'm Maria. I'm from Moldova. I'm 28 years old. I'm interested in people, in nature, in the place that I'm living in. Mostly in the youth and the notion of home, also in the relationship between the humans and environment. I'm working with black and white photography mostly, and I started this project. It's called Homeland. I started in 2019 at the end of a year. Back then, I won a small grant from Romanian Center of Photography. And I wanted just to travel and to know better my country, to meet people. And I didn't have an idea what I want to do in the beginning. But I wanted, and I was driven by curiosity to discover more about the people and about myself. Here is the artist statement, and there's also some inspiration I wrote. I'm inspired by old portrait masters such August Sander, Arbus, Rosalind Fox Solomon, Peter Hoosier. And I mostly work with portraits, but also with the landscapes. And so next one is about the homeland. I'm inspired by rural surroundings and the human livings in the remote places. Remote places are small villages, because I'm interested in this aspect of my country, because villages, people are leaving the villages, and I'm interested why they are doing this and what is left after this. Okay. Also, I'm interested in local traditions, rituals, relationship of people with the land and the animals. I identify myself with people that I photograph, especially with children and teenagers, because we share the same background, or mostly because my parents also went to work abroad when I was little. So I photograph teenagers and children that remind me of myself. This portrait is Madalina. I made it 3 years ago. I don't have a plan when I'm going to villages, like what I will photograph, so I'm just going and exploring it. I remember back then I went to one village where my teacher have some relatives, and she asked me to find some photographs of her old relatives, but I didn't found. But I found some people to photograph. I'm inspired also by the nature. So here are some landscapes. Also the combination of people and landscapes. As I said, there are many villages that are left by people. So there are houses abandoned, and I like to explore them, just to go there, to photograph, to find some things inside. For me, it's very important that memory that the place have. This is a statue of Lenin, Vladimir Lenin. In the Soviet times, every village and city in Moldova have this statue of Lenin, but with the head as well, in the front of cultural house. But after the destruction, collapse of the Soviet Union, it was thrown away from the cultural houses. So I was in one village, and there was a guy, and he has one part of the body of Lenin, and as well a second one, the head, in his garden. And I went there and asked him where he found it. And he told me that he's very nostalgic about Soviet time, and he wants to make a pioneer park in his garden, and to put the statues there, also the Lenin and all the stuff that remind him about the Soviet Union. I love animals and to see the connection between people and animals. And in Moldova, people have around animals, not just domestic, that are in the house, but also animals like cows, horses, that they are using for food. It's a portrait from the bus station and a landscape one. Some abandoned houses. House. We have many traditions in villages, and I love it just to discover them. So there is a portrait of a boy. It's from Ukrainian village that is in Moldova. It's not far from the border with Ukraine, and it's called Tradition Trikraya. It's like translation Three Boys, and it's before the New Year. Boys and also girls, adults as well, they are doing some kind of dancing and singing in every street from the village. And villagers are meeting them and dancing with them. And there are traditions that have a lot of years and they are still continuing. And I was fascinated somehow that young people are still interested in this and they are doing. And this was very beautiful for me to see it. It's a picture from a carnival, also before the new year. So in a village, villagers are doing some costumes and they are dancing in the cultural house. Also from this tradition, Trikraya. Young people, as I said, I'm very inspired by them. I see myself in them and I'm inspired by their beauty. And also this feeling of a freedom that you have and you feel mostly when you're a child. It's a picture not far from my home. I like to walk and sometimes I feel that I don't need to go somewhere far to photograph. But all photographs are relatively very close to me in distance as well. It's a picture from abandoned sport hall in one village, and I like it that someone just put their house with a mistake on the wall, and I thought that it will suit to my project. Also a picture, a portrait, it's Zinaida. It's from the Green Feast. It's a holiday in one village at the north in Moldova, and there is a holiday just for women. So they are dancing, dressing, drinking, and just having fun. And I was very amazed by it. Also, this kind of holiday have more like 100 years. Portraits that I'm doing are from some travels, from the feasts, holidays, as I said, and also from festivals. And this picture, the portrait, is from one festival. And the girl reminded me of myself because I also broke my arm when I was at this age, mostly. Portrait of people I met. The hands are her sister hands. The woman have some disease, and she can't properly work or doing something like walking by herself. So it's her sister that she's doing everything for her and helping her. So I like it, this connection and this gentle action with the hands of a sister on her face. Also portrait, it's Angelina from Naslavcha. Naslavcha is the northest village from Moldova. It's on the border with Ukraine. It's like 1 kilometer or 2 from Ukraine. And I accidentally made a double exposure with my camera. And this one, the second picture is from abandoned house. The last one that I put in this PDF, it's a picture, is one of the first pictures that I made for this project when I began in 2019. So the boy was playing with this rope around his head. Okay, that's all.
Thanks so much, Maria. It's beautiful as always because there's a lot of new photography that I saw before, and the landscapes are interesting combined with the portraits. It's really interesting. So what do you think you're going to do with this? I remember you were talking about a book, maybe. What do you think? Where do you want to take this?
I see this project as a book, but I think I still need to photograph more and have more material
Mhm.
that I see in the future as a book.
Okay, wonderful. So there's a lot of, comments here and questions. which we will definitely get to, but let's first make sure to also hear Sarah's presentation, and then to each of you, I will ask the questions that everyone's asking. So thank you, Maria. Thank you so much. And Sarah Contar, now we can listen to your presentation.
Screen. Okay, so hello everyone. First of all, I don't know, is the screen, everything's good? You can see it? Okay,
Yeah.
so my name is Sarah Contar. I'm from Syria. I've been based in France since 2016. I came to France as a refugee, and I'm still a refugee in France. I started photography as soon as I arrived. Before that, I was always really in love with cameras, and I never, like, I could have never owned a camera. So it was really complicated before, and for a few years I did more artistic photos. I would just have a camera on me and I'd look for things that inspire me, and everything was related to the space and how I feel about it. So the camera was my way into getting familiar with a stranger environment, and also searching for a home. So this project was the first one I did as a documentary project. I started on 2022 and it was done in 2023. But the first images are also from 2021. So it's about, it's called Therefore I Cut. It's a personal project at a time where I needed to link to home, a home that I cannot go to. And I found it in the people around me. So I started noticing my mother with her friends and their link to each other. So like 3 women, they all come from different parts in Syria. They met in Paris, and they're all refugees, and they all have different backstories. But they created a link together that reminded me a little bit of my aunts of the families, and they would like invite all of the friends and created a small community around them. So I started being really interested in documenting them. Then I noticed that I don't know why, but I noticed like they have a link through haircuts where they don't go to hairdressers, and me too. And that's how the project started, because I one day I just wanted to cut all of my hair because I couldn't support it anymore, and I will talk about this later. And then we started to talk about it, and we realized that it's actually them all the time cutting their hair, and they never go to hairdressers. So this became like kind of the storyline for me, because as we talk about it, they talk about like, I don't know why, then they would talk about the difficulties of language, not being confident, wanting to be with someone they know, talking about also financials, and all of the problems of exile came around the hair and why we don't cut our hairs in hairdressers. So me too, I never went to a hairdresser in France. It's always my mother. And that's how the project began. I used really different cameras, different films, and I had point and shoot, I had medium formats, I had 35 millimeters, and also a few digital, but I didn't use them images. I didn't use a lot digital in this project. It was mostly analog. And I registered also a lot of audios, and I added the phrases that they talk about as texts. So this is my mother's hand. was on film and the film got burned, so I gave this effect because I opened it mistakenly. But this thing, I love it because it's also, as Syrian, as a refugee, someone where we don't have a lot of tools, it makes sense that the things are not perfect. That's my mother. That's also different moments at the same. And this we live in this apartment. It's with an association, and we're just moving out of it next month, which is very emotional. And it's different moments and different days. I actually realized that I took the same picture later on, work on the her papers or sleeping or on the phone with family in Syria. And this is one of her in the mirror. I think it's one of my favorites in this project. And it's because I realized a lot that I romanticize this experience in my work, and I do so because I don't have other option, but it's not very romantic. So sometimes I feel that my work, especially after I did this project, I feel that my work, I needed today to be more resistant than just like give up and romanticize things. So what I like about this image, it's because she doesn't look perfect in it. She's there. She has like daring eyes, and she's just dyeing her hair. And yeah, I think it's one of my favorite images of my mother. And also she's the one who first decided to do asylum seeking, and me and my brother followed afterwards. So she took the first step, and I always see her as someone who's very strong and decided her own future, and also refused to live under war, under oppression, and she did a lot to rebuild her life as a refugee. So this is Majida. She's actually the oldest between them, but she's the one who wants to take more care of herself, and she's so funny about it. It was really hard working with her because she wanted to be beautiful in all the images, and I wanted for them to be okay with me using the images I chose, but also I didn't want to only choose the nice images. But yeah, she has a lot of dresses, a lot of pajamas, like all the colors. And here she's talking in this, when I did this shooting, she showed me so the images to the right. She was telling me that when she left Syria, she had an album full of image, like all the albums, and she filled everything of her children because she's so attached to her children. They all today live in different, like some in France, some in Germany, so they're in different parts. And so she was telling me that she was filling the suitcases with their albums, but she forgot to take her photos. And she misses being young, and she misses being beautiful a lot. So somebody gave her this image on the phone, and it's blurry, and like it's not out of focus. The image itself is blurry, and it's the only image that was left for her at the time. Later on, she found new images, and I did a gift for her. But when I did this shooting, it was the only images she had of herself young. And yeah, she was also here. She's with her children. Some live in France where they meet more, but some live in Germany, and they do like this one time of a year meeting where they all see each other. I asked them to prepare themselves for this shooting, and when I came, they were all in pyjama, so I was like, don't move, stay in pyjama. And yes, and Diala actually here, she's my sister, and Majda is like my second mother. She's not really my sister, she's my friend, but I consider her like my sister. Here she was telling me, this was another day, she was telling me that there was like nothing left in their house in Syria. No, but their house in Syria was still full with their stuff, but some people like they rented, not expensive for displaced people from other city. And she was saying that there is nothing left, so she wouldn't go back. I don't know, I wanted to leave sometimes for you to read. And here we talk a lot about the length of hair. So she was telling me before Jumana, which is my mother, cut my hair for the first time. I had never visited a hairdresser in France. It was not just about difficulty of expressing in French. The high risk also made me feel guilty about spending time, she meant money on myself or my hair. I preferred this money to help my family in Syria who needed it more. In France, when your mother is not available, there is also my sister. For me, cutting hair was something I reserved for Syria. I waited thinking intentionally that we would soon return home. However, time passed and that your return never happened. So if you're wondering when was the last time I visited a hairdresser, well, it was in Syria. And this is Malak. And here she cooked for us. She did during the revolution in 2021, 2022, she was cooking for the people and she did that for years. She would cook for camps, for people who were blessed under bombs, and she would cook, she did that for a lot of time, and she still cook a lot for us. This is my mother. I don't know why, but I keep thinking about all of this pain, and that even though it's a constant hurting, on the other hand, we are feeling it. That reminds us that we survived. Those who don't feel are those who died. And so this is the image, the two images from 2021. It's the first time, like I was with a friend and she told me, we were talking and she told me, I had really long hair. And she said, like the skin changes a lot. So everything changes, but in our hair, it still has memories. So like the same parts that left something, they're still there unless you cut it. And we were talking about this, and really after that, like it kept haunting me. And I was sitting home one day with my mother and I was like, what, just cut it all. And after I took these photos. And that's it. Yes.
Thank you, Sarah, and that was a good ending it with you. Thank you for this. It's interesting how you didn't just want to tell the story in a straightforward manner, but found like bit of like a filter or way through which the cutting of hair, through which you actually are telling the stories of people adjusting, trying to find this new life, but also actually it's mostly the stories that you tell are about their old life. So thank you. And it's a very sensitive project. Okay, and now since we do have a little bit of time, it's good. Let's go through some questions, and there are some comments for each of you, but I will start from the beginning, but let's try to make it not very long, the answers, so that we get to everyone. So first, there was a question to you, Ana. What from Iqbal Hussein? What initially drew you to documentary photography? And could you walk us through your typical workflow? Yes, and the concept, what are the biggest challenges you face as documentary photography? It's a bit of a general question, but still, maybe you can talk to us in relation to the project that you showed us.
Yeah, so I can talk about this project, but also in general. So I do documentary work since 4 years ago, but I've been doing photography for 15 years. I get paid for other types of photography, usually portrait, architecture, and assignments for magazines in Latin America. I work with various magazines. The documentary work, I usually do it because I'm just drawn to it, and it's a way of mine to explore my reality. So most of my work comes from subjects that really interest me personally. This was the most personal work by far, and the one that I dedicated more time to. And it was very easy to work on this one, especially because I have a very limited time with my parents in Romania. So, is this Instagram saying that you make more photos when you're in vacation. So everybody seems like it's traveling all year long. This is how I feel with this project, because I get a chance to photograph my homeland only some weeks a year, and then I can concentrate only on that. I'm in vacation, I'm in Romania, I photograph on my project. The other projects I work on are kind of chaotic because I don't make money with them, so they're never a priority. It's just that, okay, now I have 3 days off, so I can put my intention and my thought on doing that project, right? Because otherwise, like, I need to keep on living, I need to pay the bills and I need to do the work that they're paying me for. So yeah, it's kind of hard to find the balance to continue shooting your personal projects. This is why it's very important to truly feel drawn to that subject and not do something just because you think it might be welcomed or, will win whatever stuff, just do something that really interests you and keeps you going. I hope I answered the question.
Thanks, Anna. But Sarah, I forgot to ask you, what are your ideas for the project? What are you doing next? Do you want to keep working?
So for this, I wanted to do another chapter because another one of my mother friends, she had, how to say it, she got a permit to be a hairdresser and she works from home. So she just got it. I'm in contact with her and I asked her if I can come and photograph the people she worked with. But this time it's not only focused on Syrians, but all also like a lot from migrants and all refugees. So like mostly from the region. So I want to work on that, but now since last week, everything's changing so fast. I don't know. I'm kind of lost in my feelings. so I don't know. I don't know if people are gonna stay or people gonna leave. I don't know what's happening for Syrians everywhere. But I want to continue, and even if I have, because I don't have any citizenship, I had to abandon my Syrian passport, and I have like refugee documents. So even if I get papers, I still think like migration laws in Europe especially are very, very problematic, and they have like there is so much to work on, and it's a way to mix everything together. And I'm also working on different projects, and it's always about exile, diaspora, these experiences, different peoples. So I think, yeah, I'm just like mixing everything together. And we'll
Okay, thanks. And now if we go in order of when the questions were asked. So for Maria, there was a question after you finished. How long do you spend in these towns? How much preparation do you do before going? What kind of preparation? Do you go back to the same town? You have this kind of a question, Maria.
Okay, so it depends. In some villages, I went like for 1 day, in some for 2 or 3 days. Also, we had some programs. I was in residence. For example, this year I was 3 weeks in one residence where I photograph women and girls in village. Also, the last year I was 1 month in one village. So it depends. What kind of preparation? I just got my films and prepare myself morally, like to have energy to go outside and to meet people and to talk to them and to listen to them. What else?
Okay, and there is another question from Jonathan Damon. He asks, are cultural houses all over Eastern Europe and Central Asia? I recall your project and the beautiful book, Anush. Yes, I had another book about culture houses too. Okay, so yes, so to you, Maria, are there other culture houses like the ones that you photographed?
Yeah, there are a lot in Moldova as well, in Romania, as I know, Lithuania. So in Eastern Europe, there are a lot. Also, I was in Abkhazia, and also there I also found cultural houses, also Georgia. So yeah, in Union time, there was a lot of cultural houses. Because with the culture, they were some kind of manipulation of the people. So they were important to show films, to make theater for some kind of events.
The propaganda, right? Yeah, and the same was in Armenia. We had a culture house in most villages. And then a question from Grace Ikbo. Hi, Maria, love the intimacy in your portraits. I'd like to know, how do you deal with permissions when photographing children?
So I ask if there are parents around. I ask them if I can photograph the children. I don't have a papers or something to write like permission, because this will be very strange in Moldova, and this will be like, why you're doing this? So I have just like spoken permission, and yeah.
Okay. And then the last question for you, Maria. Do you think there's a way to rehabilitate all those abandoned places? From Olenka de Santiago.
I don't think there is a way to rehabilitate all the houses. I know there are some villages that many like people from Chisinau. Chisinau is the capital of Moldova. They are going to village and they are buying houses there because it's cheaper, and they are doing some kind of like dacha, how to say, or just some hotel. Also, there is one village, and there one young guy, he bought houses and for artists and for artistical community, so they are doing some residences there. And so there's some ways to do something with the houses, but there are many houses, so I don't think we can like give another life to all of them.
Yes. Okay, well, thank you, Mia. And then there are a couple of questions to Sarah. So beginning with the earlier ones, the first one was, how will your future work be impacted by the fall of Bashar al-Assad? This is a question by Hook Medford. I think you kind of answered, but if you want to add anything to that, Sarah.
I think, yeah, it's just very, very important now to focus on the Syrian narrative. As you can see, people just discovered that they don't know anything about Syria for the last 13 years. And I think it's not only what I want to do, it's also my duty towards my own experience, my people, to document as much as possible from what happened during this 30 last years, but also from the stories of the people, the culture, like everything else around it, because we are not just about Syrians. It's not, we don't have just war in our life. Like there's also all the stories, and it just depends on my position, because I'm still a refugee. It's like so if I can go or not. But today also I founded as I founded a space for Syrian narrative. So I work with different photographers and filmmakers, and I think we really, really need to collaborations and community work and work together to rebuild this. So I'm also, I love collaborating with different projects, but I also do my projects and this, and yeah, I don't know if it's answered.
Okay.
But it's a new chapter for us.
Yes. So there are some comments for you here as well in the chat, and then one more question. Iqbal Hussein is asking, hi Sarah, how do you think documentary photography can challenge harmful stereotypes and misconceptions about migrants and promote empathy and understanding? Do you think photography can be a powerful tool for advocacy on migration issues?
Of course, it's one of the most important tools, even photography and film and cinema. It's how we are shown, like, and that's also why it was very important for me to show something personal, because as a refugee, we're always from like portrait from the outside, and there is a lot of thing about, it's very dehumanizing and it's very victimizing all the time. And I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to be just a refugee. I'm myself. And the problem is that also as an artist, how not to go into the same trap. And that's what I feel sometimes about my work, that I romanticize it too much. It's just because I need to accept it, and it's more like therapy for me. But when I show it sometimes, like during exhibitions and things like that, I can see people like they want to put us in this victim position, and it wasn't my purpose. So I'm reconsidering a lot on how to build a story, how to write it, and how this can affect, and it has a huge effect, and we can see it today on social medias and things like that, how images can really change things. So,
Yeah, and then that kind of brings us to the last question. Tina Masumi is asking, Sarah, your work has touched my heart. I am a refugee from Iran working about exile and home. How do you portray home where home is out of reach?
it's my question all the time. So for me, in France, I film a lot of people from like this, what my community, the people I'm close with. So I'm always with my friends, with my camera, and when I see a moment I want to document, I do so, because people are my home. Or sometimes in streets and things like that, I just walk, and if something made me feel something, I portray it. If I want to take something from like time and space, I take it with my camera. But it's very hard, and I work a lot on that. I did different projects, but it demanded collaborations to work with people from different places and collaborate. I think I really believe in collaborations and collective work. And also I did a film where I have one film, experimental documentary, where I just it's a conversation with me and my father in Syria that I didn't see for years, and the whole thing I just filmed the screen. So it's hard to photograph something that's not there, but everyone should find their own way. There is no tool and no rule to make that. It's just your own feeling and what makes you feel home, and it's here, and then you decide.
Thanks. Thank you, Sarah. Well, I think we're done with the questions. And yeah, so I want to thank the three of you. Y'all are amazing photographers, and it's so good that we brought these three stories together. They're all very deep and sensual and just so personal from like only your point of view. So it was amazing. Thank you for your time and sharing the stories. And also thank you everyone who was here listening and watching the stories and asking questions. I think this was a beautiful talk and beautiful meeting, and I really hope that this is something that can be not just inspiring, but that people can take in their hearts and sort of see how else they can go on working. Because most of our attendees are usually photographers, so I think this will be a very important thing for many of them. Thank you.
Thank you for the invitation.
Sorry?
But I was saying for the people, if they have like want to talk more or have more questions, they can reach out to us on private, and I answer normally. And
Okay.
thank you everyone for everything.
Yes, thanks a lot. And I wish everyone a beautiful evening, and we hope to see you next time during our VII Foundation events.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.